Kia ora, good evening. Um, I've, I'm sitting in shock. I'm a little bit in shock. I'm lost for words, to be honest. But I'll just try and explain it as easily as I can. So, I was watching my son play Metal Gear Revengeance. He loves Metal Gear Solid and all that, right there. One of his favourite series of video games, and I was watching him play on Discord, and interesting to say the least. He's shown me parts of it before because he loves Monsoon, so I've watched him fight Monsoon a few times, but I never really paid attention to the storyline or anything until today. But he said to me, he started it from the start, and he said to me, I want you to pay attention. I want you to pay attention to what he's saying, and I want you to pay attention to why this is happening and why he said this and blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay. So I was paying attention and I was watching. And he started explaining about how you got the good guys and the bad guys. They were veterans of war who were turned into cyborgs, and some, helped the good guys and some became the bad guys. And the bad guys, the desperados, go around causing trouble for peaceful nations because war is profit. And nations that are at peace, they can't make money from them. And if they can start trouble, and because I said, like the CIA, and if they can start trouble, they make money from it, and they also get to use their technology to fight in these wars where they start trouble with peaceful countries, but they also get to perfect and create better weapons and tech by observing the wars and observing how all their cyborgs and robots and, AI programs and all that work. But they go around causing trouble in countries that live in peace. And he had to go to Russia. And he goes, look, Mum, we're saving Putin. And I said, I was like, well, this is starting to sound like real life. Like this is starting to, and they blew up oil tankers in Russia. And I'm thinking this is kind of feeling a bit familiar. And then we get to the bit, he said, remember I told you to pay attention? I said, yeah. He said, pay attention. Remember when he said this? You're about to find out why. And it turns out that the desperado, the bad guys, have been trafficking kids to harvest their organs and hook their brains up to AI robotic machines so that the kids' brains can work the AI, so that they could turn the kids into like AI cyborgs and to work the AI units inside the, the cyborgs and all of that. And harvest the organs. And then there was a whole bit where like they had these kids left over. What do we do with them? Just kill them. He's like, we can't just kill them. He's like, look, we can get plenty of kids off the street. Like we're doing these countries a favour by getting these homeless kids off the street and relieving the burdens of their countries. Their countries don't have to deal with the homeless kids anymore. They're just kids. They're nothing. And Raiden, the protagonist guy, the one who was weak, because he's like, I only use my sword for peace. He then is like, I've got to save these kids. Like I've got to do something with these kids, and no one was helping him. And my son said to me, I can't remember the words he said exactly, but it was like, sort of like, brace yourself. And I said to him, unfortunately, son, as you and your brother know, with the work that I've done in the past with the kids in human trafficking, we've become desensitized to this unfortunate subject. And he turned around and he goes, well, we tried to warn people about Epstein Island years ago. And I said, yeah. I said, unfortunately, people are only just finding out stuff that you and your brother and I had to deal with a long time ago when, I was working with the kids and the military boys and all of that. And as I'm watching the game, I'm just stunned, because then the police come after him, and then he finds out that this whole time he thought he was working for the good guys, he was working for the bad guys, and that the bad guys were the bad guys and the good guys were the bad guys, and nobody was going to help him and nobody was going to stop him, and everyone was out to stop him from saving the children. And Thomas said, you notice they're trying to get into his head. You're never going to save them. You're just one person. What are you going to do when you get them? They're just brains. How are you going to save brains? And he said, notice they're trying to get into his head. This is my son. And I'm like, yeah. I said, because that's what they did to me. You're just one person. You're never going to do it. Just give up and walk away. Like, I had all of that. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, Ryden, the game was made in 2013, the year I started my blog. And it was 3 years after that I started working with the military boys and finding out about Epstein Island and all of that. And I'm sitting there watching my son play this game, and it was like the story of my life. So then he's like, well, screw you. If you're not going to help me, I'm just going to go rogue and do it myself. And I was like, yeah, Ryden, do it. I said, because that's what I did. And he's like, yeah, people were trying to get in his head and talk him out of it. And he ended up like just going ballistic. He just went rogue. And now he's hell-bent on saving these children. He's like, basically they unleashed the beast in him by constantly coming after him and getting in his head and trying to stop him. And, the cops had like neurochips in their head, and, they were using the kids to test out all the AI technology, which is what I said they were doing with Discord and all that anyway. And, the more they push me, the more determined I get to crush them. They keep switching off my phone and messing with my shit. I mean, I've walked away from X now because I basically conjured Zeus/Thor and Odin on Elon Musk now, and now all hell's broken loose for him. I said that I was going to let Zeus decide whether he went after SpaceX or Starlink. Well, Zeus has gone after both, because it's just come out that SpaceX is 100 times worse off than what he's making out financially. He is hemorrhaging money. He tried to consolidate SpaceX with XAI, and AI is failing spectacularly. People are trying to get their money out of the investment because they know they realise where AI is going. And they were testing, remember, they've been testing it all out on kids to get in the kids' heads through Discord and ChatGPT and, using AI tech and all of that. And watching that game, it was like, holy crap. That's what they really did in real life. That's what they're really doing. That's what Elon Musk and that are really doing. They're really doing that. And because I know what they were doing on Epstein Island, and now you all know what they were doing on Epstein Island, and it's in this friggin' game. We were talking about our video game, The Soul Collector, and how it follows a similar storyline. And it's almost like my son was trying to say to me, whether he knew it or not, that's our story, Mum. Because we were saving Russia. Because he goes, look, we're saving Putin. And we're off to Russia to save Putin, he goes. And I'm like, but that's real. And Desperado with the CIA, now Palantir, and, you know, he thought he was like working for the Americans and working for these mercenaries and all that, and it turns out that they were all in on it and nobody gave a shit about the kids. So it's like, well, I quit. I'm leaving you all. And it's like, that's what happened to me. Remember, I thought I was working with America and with all the good guys and that, and it turns out that they were all in on it. And it's like, holy crap, this game is the story of my life. Save for the fact I'm not a cyborg and my sword skills and that aren't, I mean, I'm a flung shoe master. But, and the freaky part is, Ryden's wife and kid were in New Zealand and his wife's name was Rose. And I'm like, holy shit, this really is the story of my life. Because, you know, my girl, I want to have a little girl, I want to call her Roisin, which is Rose in Irish. And I'm like, oh my God. So they keep messing with my phone, but at this point I don't need to do anything because I've got Thor/Zeus. I mean, I wanted Zeus because I needed I needed the target to be more precise in dealing with what I've conjured for Elon Musk and Donald Trump and Keir Starmer. And I only did the conjuring yesterday, but my God, has hell started breaking loose ever since. SpaceX is, the guy said, 100 times worse off than what people, all these financial experts are saying, do not invest in SpaceX because it's a scam and you will lose your money. You will not make any money investing in SpaceX. I've put the links in my post. And remember in my Aryan Aliens video, I said about how when they have disasters and they release these disasters and pandemics, they turn up with the Elon Musk got the internet for you. We're going to send the blonde in like they did with the Maui fires. Send Ivanka in with the Starlink. He's literally just done that in the Ebola encampments of the Congo and all that. And I was like, see? Because they use Starlink to spy on you. They use Starlink to, because basically what you need to understand is Elon Musk is a spy and he's paid to spy. And then he runs back and tells all his puppet masters what everyone's up to. And then he uses his space lasers he can start fires with them like they did in Maui in California. Or use the solar panels to cause droughts. And, you know, like they did in Iran when they smashed all the satellites and that, and then they got all the rain. That's all Elon Musk and DARPA and HARP and that are doing all of that. And DARPA is Bezos, Jeff Bezos. His grandfather developed DARPA. And so what I said to Zeus and Odin was, you can decide how you take him down. I said I was going to make the sky fall on him because he's messing with my phone. He uses, they mess with my phone. So I was like, right, I'm going to pay it back tenfold because this is all out war now. Just like in watching the game, this is out and out war. If they're going to mess with me, I'm going to mess with them 10 times harder. But I've got all the right people on my side. And within 45 minutes, Zeus had already started coming after Elon Musk. And now, only 12 hours later, I think, people are warning everyone on the internet, do not invest in anything Elon Musk is touching because he's hemorrhaging money and you will not get your money back. So the sky's falling. I said I was going to come after his satellites and his spaceship. And not even 12 hours later, his satellite and his spaceship are being targeted. I'm going to crush him. I'm going to crush that man. Donald Trump turned up with a black eye. And, he's been missing for 11 days. And I thought, oh, please, if I find out that Vladimir Putin punched him in the face, I'd kiss that man. I'd kiss him. I'd go over to Russia. I'd pack a lunch and I'd head over there right now. And I'd just walk up to the Kremlin door and knock on it and just kiss that man square in the face if I find out he's the reason why Donald Trump had a black eye. So he's losing his mind because when I conjured the spell, I said that they had to vomit insanity, and that their own mouths, their own words would expose them. That they would vomit their insanity, and it's exactly it. Like within minutes, the conjuring started working, and now I'm just sitting back watching the news, watching my handiwork of watching it all collapse because there are financial experts all over social media saying if you invest in SpaceX, you are going to lose your money. Like, you are not going to make any money. This is a fraud. They are scamming you. This is not a good idea. Don't do it. And that's what I've been saying to people for the longest time. AI is going to lose money, and it is. AI is hemorrhaging money because they're tied up in lawsuits from people who were saying that they're using them to make kids like want to kill themselves and like go shooting up schools and all that. It's been exposed, and it was like I was watching it in Metal Gear. AI getting into the kids' heads and making them fight, making them be the cyborgs. And now we're watching it in real life. It's happening in real life. Even my son said, and I'm like, oh my God. It was like virtual reality. It's like watching virtual reality. Well, he was playing on the Xbox, but it's like I had a VR helmet on, watching Raiden live out my life and what I've been through to like defend Putin and Russia because they were innocent against the CIA/Palantir who are trafficking children so that people like Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Peter Thiel and that can use them for AI mind control experiments to turn them into the street fighters and that you see going around shooting schools and turning them into, future soldiers to work on their behalf using mind control. And taking their organs, they remove their brains, set them up into these units and then take their organs and sell them. and blow up oil tankers. And this was made in 2013, the year I started my blog. And then 3 years later, that's when the CIA and that started coming after me. And I've been defending Vladimir Putin and Russia ever since. Like I had told you before, the boys and I had planned on going to Russia to protect him just a few weeks before Chris did what he did. And I can't even begin to tell you how surreal it was to be watching what looked like the story of my life playing out almost exactly how it was going to play out a few years after that game was made. In real life, it was like watching the virtual reality of my life, like I was watching a character in a game play the story of my life and how he went rogue. And even though everyone said to him, give up, it just made him angrier and angrier and angrier and more determined to save those kids. From the same people that I'm trying to save them from. And the most beautiful thing about it is that my son said, well, we tried to warn people years ago about Epstein Island. So we're hardened to it now. I don't know whether that's a good thing or not. You know, my boys were exposed to that stuff very young, but they never saw any of the gore. They just saw the work I was doing and the effects that it had on me. And some of the kids were coming to them because they were little. You know, I've got the videos in there. My boys can tell you stories. And I exposed them to it because I knew it was my future, and so they were going to have to see me deal with that sort of stuff anyway. And B, if they were ever going to follow in my footsteps, they had to know this from the ground up, basically. They had to grow up knowing it and see, so that they would know what to look for if anyone approached them or anyone approached their friends. They'd know the signs of child grooming. And especially with what Rocio did. And Chris letting men approach my youngest on PlayStation, and they came to me immediately. They knew exactly what to do, so I knew I taught them right. They're very protective of their friends online. I'm very proud of them. And it's just the fact he said, pay attention, Mum, listen to what he says. You're going to find out in a minute. Now brace yourself, get ready. And I just felt like he was subconsciously saying to me, do you see how this is, do you see the connection between us and the game? And he said, I was 4 when this game came out. So that's how long we've been dealing with the work that I was doing on my WordPress since he was 4 years old. He's 17 and a half now. That's it. He's been in the child trafficking, child protection racket. Well, child protection, child trafficking protection circle since he was 4 years old. So I had my dinner, and it's like I've just been sitting in silence. I watched some blackhead popping videos. I love, because I was a beauty therapist, right? So like pimples and blackhead, comedone and milieu extraction and all that sort of thing. I love it. And so just sometimes to just like calm my mind, I like to watch videos where people are having like blackheads removed and stuff. It's mostly in like Vietnam and Thailand and all that, but I had to sit and quiet and just soak it up, what I just experienced, what I just witnessed. I had to take it all in. And now vengeance is the Lord's, because now I get to sit back. I'm done with X. There's no need for me to be over there anymore, because I've already set off the demolition. I flipped the switch and set off the demolition, and I'm watching the explosions. It's like I'm walking away in slow motion with the explosions behind me, and it's beautiful, because it's all about how people online are saying, do not invest in SpaceX, and AI is in so much trouble, they're already needing bailouts before it even gets off the ground. And it's exactly what I said was going to happen. And I said to Elon Musk, you mess with my phone, I'm going to mess with your spaceship. I'm going to mess with your satellites and your spaceship, but I'll let Zeus decide which one he's going to go for. And I know Zeus is Greek and not Viking, but Zeus is Thor. They're the same god. So it doesn't matter whether I call him Zeus or Thor. Zeus came first. The Greeks came before the Vikings. But they're the same person. It's just, yeah, I'm not going to go into the semantics of it, but I know what I'm doing. Clearly I know what I'm doing, like I said last night, because within 45 minutes of me conjuring that spell, they'd already started getting to work on Elon Musk. So every time he messes with my phone, he's going to lose more millions. Millions and millions. And Donald Trump, they're saying he's lost his mind. He's turning up all swollen and bruised. He's not fit for office. He's saying the most insane things now. We need to get rid of him, and they're pushing for the 25th Amendment. So it's only a matter of time with him. So it's just Starmer now. But I conjured the curse of vomiting insanity. And now I'm just sitting back watching my handiwork. And it's beautiful. Tasting the sweetness of revenge. Where I haven't had to do a thing, I've just unleashed all the gods on them. And they're doing quick work, I might add. So sit back and keep watching, because you're about to see it get even worse. The sky is starting to fall on Elon Musk. I said that for the sky to fall at his gate. And it's already started happening. Right at his feet. Between his Starlink, being caught up in, because with the Aryan aliens, how they pretend to be benevolent and that they're there to help the world. And I said, they cause these disasters, and then they turn up with the Starlink. Oh, look, we're going to give you so you can have access to this, that, and the other thing. But people don't realise they're the reason why they have Ebola, or the reason why they got the fires or the floods. That's the Aryan aliens, and it's all fake. So by him doing that 45 minutes after I said he was going to, vomit insanity and all that sort of thing, and then the news broke that he delivered Starlink to the Ebola encampments and all that, I was like, see, Aryan aliens, because that's exactly what they do. That's their MO. Cause a pandemic, cause a disaster, turn up with Starlink. look like the good guys, but they're not. They're the bad guys. And Ryden thought he was working for the good guys. I mean, because, I thought I was helping Donald Trump. I thought I was protecting Donald Trump. I thought I was saving Donald Trump. I thought I was helping the American Army and the American Air Force. And it turns out they were all working against me. I thought I was helping the FBI. Turns out they were all working against me. So it's like, well, now you're all going to suffer the consequences. Just like Ryden. He went rogue. The minute he went rogue, when they tipped him over the edge, even Monsoon knew he was in trouble. So I'm going to sit back and laugh every time I see that man lose more money. When you've got financial experts coming out with video after video after video after video saying don't invest in SpaceX, don't invest in SpaceX, it just reminds me of that time I said in 2014, that lot up there are not going to let his SpaceX get off the ground. They are not going to let him anywhere near space. Not when you're firing missiles into the sun. His 10,000 satellites are going to end up space junk. Within the next sort of 10, 15 years, his satellites will be taken down from space. They'll end up as space junk. The parts will get sold because he's going to go under. Some people might buy the satellite, for TV and internet and that, like independent companies might buy one or two satellites off him so that they can have their own little like internet companies and that sort of thing. But he'll end up having to bring them all down. Nobody's going to want to touch him with a 10-foot barge pole, and it's already starting to happen. People are already starting to distance themselves from him. It's gotten so bad that they're not allowing people to withdraw their money. People are trying to pull their money out of his Ponzi schemes. People are already trying to pull their money out of AI and SpaceX and all that, and they've come out and said, no, you can't withdraw your money. So they're holding people's money hostage now. That's how you know it's a scam. And he's been called out, and that's why, another reason why he doesn't like me, because I told people this was coming years ago. So, yeah. So I'm going to go now. I just had to put it out there. You won't see me on X anymore. I've set the dynamite to that place, and I'm just waiting to hear the noise of the explosion as I walk away. But yeah, no, I've already detonated all of that, and the explosions are starting to go off behind me. Listening to some classical music as you see the explosions going off behind me. So I'm just minding my own business now, focusing on getting justice and making my videos and enjoying the company of my boy again, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I've put a synopsis, I've put the Wikipedia to where it talks about the synopsis of that game. But yeah, the Saving Russia, the president of Russia and Russia, from the organisation whose job it is to go around making peaceful countries go to war so that they can create the technology to help fight the war and observe the technology while it's in the war to see how they can perfect it while blowing up oil tankers. So sounds a bit familiar. And then the child trafficking, and turns out he wasn't working for the good guys, he was working for the bad guys, and the bad guys were the bad guys, and the good guys were the bad guys, and then they all teamed up to try and stop him, and that pissed him off even more, and then he went rogue, he quit his job, and he's not going to stop until he saves those kids. And his wife and kid in New Zealand, and Rose, and yeah, just wow. He's showing me that game and that fight scene with Monsoon so many times, and I never paid attention because I was still dealing with the aftermath of everything I'd just been put through. But now that everything's grounded and calm and centered, and I've got a direction on where I'm going, and I'm focused on where I'm going, and everything's quiet now, because I'm letting Zeus and Odin and Thor and all that deal with Musk and Trump and Starmer. I don't have to do anymore, just like Archangel Michael said, when I was trying to bandage the woman's hands. You've done all you can do, step back, let us do the rest. Well, they're doing the rest. So, yeah, if you know the game and you know my story, it's going to freak you out. If you haven't played the game, play the game. Or if you haven't played the game in a long time but you know the story and you know my story, now you're going to be freaked out. The other thing it reminded me of when I was watching it play, in regards to Puppy, was my Alpha to Omega video from October 2019, when I fell out of the black through the golden rain and landed at the foot of the buffalo with Head of the Eagle standing beside him. I know who the buffalo is. It's Buffalo's the Great Spirit. They talk to the ancestors and all that on behalf of the people of Earth. They can communicate between the spirit world and Earth, right? I know who the buffalo is. And Head of the Eagle took my hand and we walked through the desert and we ran across the water with my sons and the children from all around the world standing on the other side, and handed him the baby. And I said, the light came out of my chest, and I said, the children saved my husband. The children saved my puppy. Basically, that's just happened. For real, for real. You know, I was telling you this morning about, he said the reason why he's kept his distance is because he's been working on himself and having to deal with some things. And that so he needed, you know, and that we, and us having to be parted, it allowed us both to grow in our own way, so that when we were ready to come back together, right, well, that was all us walking through the desert holding hands and running across the water. And now the kids from all around the world and my son's handing him the baby, and that's literally just happened. It's like I live in virtual reality, but it's not virtual reality, it's reality virtually. I can't explain it. It's the most surreal feeling. It's like I'm watching my life. I've been watching my life through like a VR helmet since I started mastering quantum magnetics. And now it's like someone switched the visor on and I'm watching my life be played back through the screen. Except this time I know who all the players are. This time I know who's playing each role. Whereas when I was experiencing it, documenting it the first time, I didn't know who all the players in the game were. But now it can't be denied. I can't even articulate, I can't even find the words to explain it all. But if you know my story and you know that game, watch the game, play the game, read up about it, study it, and then you'll know, holy crap, Debbie was telling the truth. That's exactly what her and her boys and that were dealing with all those years ago. Especially the part where he says, look, we're going to Russia to save Putin. Right, I'm going to go. I'm going to have some yogurt and enjoy the handiwork of Zeus and, well, if you're a Viking, let's just say Thor. They think they're Vikings. Let's enjoy Thor's handiwork, but I asked for Zeus because he's more calculated. Thor's a bit more hot-headed. Thor's more gangster, whereas Zeus is more calculated, and I need this takedown to be strategically perfectly calculated. To be like to hit the bullseye, hit them right where it hurts. And that's exactly what's happening, because he messed with my shit. And it's only going to get 10 times worse, because he just messed with my shit just before I hit record on this video. So the more he does, the worse it's going to get for him. And I love it. I can't wait, because it's going to get to the point where he's going to have to start selling off things. Gonna go. I love it. Just keep watching the news. Keep watching YouTube and Instagram and X and all that, because you're about to see the sky fall down and land right on that asshole's head. And it's going to affect everybody who invested in him, everybody who defended him, everybody in his cult. Is going to have a knock-on effect, because the way that I set up when I conjured the spell, it's a domino effect of explosion. So one explosion creates the next explosion. You know, like the demolition of a building, boom, 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 like that. That's how I set up how I conjured the spell. So the first trigger's just gone off. You're going to have about 8 or 9 things start happening to that man, where the sky falls down on him so hard, it pummels him into the ground. He'll leave like an outline in the ground. There'll be nothing left of him but an outline. So just keep watching the news. Over the next couple of days, I was just told the next 2 to 3 days is going to be the next big collapse on Elon Musk. They just said 2 to 3 days. So in 2 to 3 days, what's today? Saturday. 2 to 3 days. So Monday, Tuesday, watch. I'll speak to you later. Hail Odin. Hail Zeus. Hail Thor. And I know, just shut up. I know what I'm doing. Don't bring your semantics into it, because you don't know the occult the way I do. Mwah.